since I answered this question with my rebound, I want you to get into a little bit more detail about your rebound. At Dean Cazzaro says, post-show to utilize the period and gain as much muscle, cruise, or what would you blast?
For a rebound?
Yeah. So coming off post-show, what would you typically do?
I agree with Justin that the drugs are minimal at this point, because at this point your body's in a very it's going to absorb whatever you do. Basically, it's very responsive mode because of the depletion, the process of getting ready for a show. You're holding back on a lot of food. Your body's deprived. So at this point, you got to take advantage of just food and good old training. So I use the most powerful drugs, but the most minimal ones. So growth hormone, insulin, and testosterone. And that's all you need. You don't need anything else. If people have if they have shitty genetics when it comes to like tendon and ligament strength, I always throw a little bit of just a very small bit of DECA in, nothing crazy, like 100 milligrams. I mean, you don't need anything really just for like tendon and ligament strength. We're not talking about the anabolic level of the DECA. We're just talking about just for joint health, you know? Okay. I had very small joints. I always got little minor strains and tears throughout my entire career, these little aches and pains. So I always used it post-show, especially because you're putting on all that weight so fast. You want to be able to stabilize it. So, but the thing is too, you got to not train heavy. You don't need, this is literally just, you can literally pick up your girlfriend and get a pump at this point. So
I agree.
You know, you felt, right? I mean, you know how it was. You just walk around and get a pump.
I walk with the grocery like, here, and I'm like, God damn. I'm like,
yeah. Volumized fast. Yeah. So I think taking advantage of the rebound with those drugs the right way, obviously we're not getting into too details, but the right drugs, minimal amounts. I mean, like low tests, you don't need much, just enough to get your system going again. Low insulin, just to keep absorption going and funneling the nutrients that you're eating, because like Justin utilized insulin because you're going to be eating a lot, so digestion's going to slow down eventually. Absorption's going to get shittier as the days go on. And eventually all that food's going to eventually catch up to you. So the insulin will keep that going. That's why he does that multiple times a day. And that's why you didn't gain weight, because your body's metabolizing the food even faster now.
Which in the past, so I probably would have been eating like that. I would have definitely held a lot of I would have gained a lot of body fat.
You would have been watery fucking mess.
I would have gained a lot of body fat. One thing to add to that too is that the drug component is you want to pick certain drugs. If you are going to continue cycle after a show, you don't want to take any drugs that are going to get in the way of those two things, food and training.
Yeah, no orals, absolutely.
So orals is definitely out.
Yeah.
You know, Anadrol or
you don't need it.
After the show, it's like you're going to get such massive pumps, you know, by doing it this way or doing, you know, adding the food already. You don't need it. And again, you don't want, this is a time that your body is going to be able to take in a lot of food and you're going to be able to eat a lot of food. So don't put something in front of it that's going to inhibit that part of the equation.
Plus, at that point, if you've done a prep to my standards, your toxicity's through the roof. Like, you know what I mean? Like your kidneys and liver, like, they're looking up at your throat, like, don't put that pill down here. We're gonna die, you know? So like the last thing you need is another oral on your kidney and liver, you know? So plus for me, orals killed my appetite. Like I couldn't wait to use them for prep because I know that would at least kill my appetite.
Yeah, that's what I say the same thing. Yeah. It's like Anadrol at the end of the diet. It's like, I don't care if it gives I don't care about any of that. Just take my hunger away.
Yeah. So the last thing you need is more pump at this point. So like, and that's all you're doing is and raising blood pressure, everything else. It's just not, you don't need to do it. And then, you know, plus like you're on all these drugs, you're trying to clean yourself out at the same time, rebound. So like, this is also like a grace period where you get away with eating shit for a certain period of time, using less drugs at the same time, getting healthier, because eventually you got to come off this rebound and repair your health, and then you can have an off season. You know, people need time, your joints need time off, everything. You know, and you could decompress and get healthy. So you're not trying to jack up levels to like some crazy amount to therefore come off in 4 weeks anyway, 5 weeks.
I agree.
So I don't. You just need to utilize less is more right now. No matter how hardcore I was, I never went crazy after the show. I didn't need to. Like I would like get a pump doing nothing, like you said. So that's like my method for that. I mean, it's very easy. And then I would just literally how well my body fat's accumulating. I would see how well I'd feed myself, but I could last a good almost 6 weeks, like eating how the fuck I wanted, you know, having a cheat meal per day with clean food for at least 6 weeks. I mean, easily. I had a good metabolism, so I don't have to worry about that. But plus I would never let myself get that when I was in contest mode, like bodybuilding mode. I never let myself get fat. You know, I would always have abs. I never wanted to lose that. You know, I didn't feel good that way. So
yeah, once you push past that point, it's like, you gotta start walking back a little bit.
Yeah, and plus I knew, you know, I just knew I wanted to get healthier. I wasn't I felt like such shit at that point. I wanted to just get, you know what I mean? Like, you know how it is. Like some preps.
I just want to stop already.
Yeah, like you don't even want to be in the gym, but it's fun because you're like, wow, this is crazy. I'm so strong. It's so pumped, you know? You get addicted to it, you know? But I would just take it week by week. And then just, you know, some people's rebounds stall quick though, because they eat like such garbage and they don't train. Their metabolic rate slows down immediately. They stay on all the crazy drugs and they're just acidic and they fuck themselves essentially. So
yeah, and you get to that point in that rebound where it's like the pumps are awesome, but then you're gonna eventually, by continuing to eat like that way, you're gonna hit a wall where you're not gonna start getting pumps anymore.
Yeah, it sucks.
You know, your muscles aren't going to look the same. They're not going to look full, and that's already, you know, you got to start backing off at that point.
All right, enough eating.
All right, next question. Now I'm going to rephrase this question to make it a little bit easier. I'm going to read the question first, but then I'm going to rephrase it. At somebody. It's a really fucked up and weird name. Everything about peak week rules, things to do, and especially things not to do. Let me rephrase that. What are your top 3 things that you should do and shouldn't do during peak week?
Oh, fuck. So this make me think. 3 things I should do? Okay.
3 things that you should do.
Keep it simple. I mean, least amount of variables as possible. Unless you're making weight, then that's a different story. But let's say you're on target for weight. Less manipulations, the better. Like, don't start altering like potassiums and fucking this level and that level and add this and add that.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, it's very simpler the better if you can. Unless you're like crunching weight, like I said, that's a different story. I mean, obvious one, don't stress, because that people don't think that matters. It really does make a big difference, especially people who are very sensitive to cortisol levels. Luckily, I didn't have that problem because I was never nervous. I was excited. I didn't stress, but a lot of people do stress about shows, and that does. People don't think it's a myth. It's a real. I've watched guys in front of me, client-wise, look absolutely amazing, and then go to utter shit by the morning because they didn't sleep. That's another thing important. You got to sleep. And they don't sleep. They're up all night thinking about the show. And I'm like,
happened to me. It's happened to me before.
You wake up. I go to look at them. I'm like, what the
like dog
fuck?
shit.
I'm like, you have no muscle anymore. Like you're a water buffalo. And then I'm like, fuck, okay, it's over. And then don't over diuretic. Too many people use diuretics.
I agree.
They rely on diuretics, and it's not. Diuretics are for the touch-up work that's already been done. Like you're in shape, you're shredded.
It's that.
And I don't even like to use them because you can't predict diuretics. That's the thing. Everyone's like, oh no, you do this and you time it and you snort this one and you eject that. No, dude, you're gonna wake up looking like God knows what. Nobody knows how diuretics work. So I dry people out, condition people with anti-estrogens and dieting and cardio, like the normal things, not diuretics. So those are my 3 things that you know, whatever the fuck you want.
I'm going to add a couple to those, and those are right along the lines that I would say. But for the beginners, at least some of the beginner things that I did when I first started is don't not salt your foods. Don't stop salting your foods.
Everyone thinks cut salt.
Okay? Don't drink distilled water.
I forgot about that one. I
drink distilled water.
That's a fucking weird one. I forgot about that one.
Yeah. Don't think that you shitloading the night before the show is gonna make you look good. It's very rare. I've done it before and it's worked beautifully, but 99% of the time it is not.
That's unpredictable too.
It is not gonna work.
Yep.
Going along the lines with the diuretic use, don't take a Lasix. Don't do it. It's not a good idea.
Well, how about when people eat or consume potassium when they're eating potassium-sparing drugs and then they cramp up and die, have a heart attack or something crazy like that, drastic, I know, but people don't look at the drugs and how they work, and it's scary, bro. A lot of people get so much, like they say, somehow they live through it. I don't know how, but they do. But so many people don't, and that shit's scary, bro. People don't realize you have a heart attack right there, cardiac arrest, done, because you mixed drugs and food, the wrong foods.
Don't cut water 2 days before the show.
Yeah, don't stop drinking water.
That's another one. Most of the time, you're not flat because you didn't eat enough carbs. You're flat because you're dehydrated or you're lacking sodium.
Yeah,
that's most of the time.
And you can't carb load, dry out, and whatever else all
at the same time.
Can't do it at the same time.
Same time.
I just made a podcast about that one. People are like,
no, I know all about that. You think that most people think that they could as they're going to fill up for the show, that it's also going to dry them out at the same time, which is not true. And that
you can't deplete, carb load, and dry out at the same time. That's
which is great. That same one that you were talking about, backloading and front loading.
Yeah,
that's why the front loading method is so good, is because you are filling out in the beginning of the week, almost spilling over, and then cleaning yourself out leading into the show.
You can't fuck up that.
One tip for peak week is be in shape early so that you can test out a peak week for yourself.
Yeah.
I think the most foolproof method is by doing what you said, is by doing a front load and using a front load many weeks ahead of time.
Yeah, I usually do it like 6-7 weeks out is like the sweet spot, because you're in shape, enough time to recover from it. You do a mini one, like a day to, a small one just to test run it. And start seeing it. With my clients, I usually, I'll start about maybe 4 to 5 weeks out. And what I'll do is I'll give them a super, super high day to start. And then I'll have them send me photos. We'll go back on a low day and I'll have them send me photos, on consecutive days till I see, okay, this was the sweet spot. It was like 3 days removed, 2 days removed. Right. Then
we'll continue the rest of the diet and we'll repeat that again.
Yep.
And then I might do 2 days consecutive.
Yep.
And then go from there. Yep. So I think by testing out your peak week is another very good tip for peak week itself.
Don't change the foods either during peak week. People like to, I'm going to eat potatoes now, or I'm going to do I'm like pasta. I'm like, what?
I haven't eaten one potato.
Yeah, the entire prep.
But now I'm going to eat potatoes.
I'm not going to say names, but a lot of prep coaches do that, and then their stomachs get distended. They're not shitting, and always have the suppositories on hand.
I do the cigarette and the espresso.
What are you, Marcus Rule?
I do the I learned that from a ex-girlfriend that
cigarettes work though.
That used to compete too, or she still does compete. And for one show, she's like, "Oh, just have an espresso and a cigarette."
Yeah, it's true.
What?
Yeah, it's true,
dude. Right to the bathroom.
Yeah, coffees and cigarettes is fun.
Right to the bathroom. Right to the bathroom.
It's hilarious.
All right, next one. This is from @TerryReed_coach. Oh, no. The coach is part of the question. @Terry @TerryReed_. Coach has me on 300 milligrams of tren acetate per week, 20 weeks now. I don't compete. Thoughts? Fire him.
Oh my God.
Fire him.
It's not even doing anything at that point.
First, I would never have it. I would never, for especially like a lifestyle client or something, I'd never have them on tren.
No.
Tren
too many people don't understand the degree of acidity of that drug. I wouldn't even want to inject it for that long. Can you imagine injecting that tren that long?
Man, even 6 weeks, leading
I hate it.
It's already shitty. But let alone 20 weeks and you're not getting ready for a show. What's the reason to put your health at risk if you're not even competing or anything like that?
People think it's going to do something though when they don't have anything. That's the problem. Like,
I know a ton of people that are just regular gym goers, and they look decent, and then they tell me what they're running because it looks like I want to know what everybody's running. They openly tell me what they're running, and as soon as they tell me that they're taking tren, I'm like, why?
Yeah, I don't.
But why?
It's the last thing I'd ever. I look at the bottle like it's sick. I'm like, oh God, the brown. Oh God, look, I don't want to smell it. I don't want. You know what I mean? It's like
it hurts my lungs.
Yeah, like fuck that drug. Fuck it.
So our thoughts? Fire him.
Yeah, save your kidneys and liver.
Fire him. Yeah. @Kazimogo00_. Cheat meal during off season, useful for body or just a treat for the mind?
Both.
Good one. I think for both too.
There's no need to live on diet food your whole life. I mean, you could. I honestly, I can't stand those people. I hate them. Like, enjoy food. Food is not something you should deprive yourself from. Mm-hmm. And if you have control, you're not like a foodie who like can't control themselves. You should be able to have whatever the fuck you want when you want it, as long as it's in whatever I'm trying to say.
Within reason.
Within reason. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, within reason. I mean, there's no reason why you can't have whatever you want. Just within reason. Once or twice, 3 times a week, it's not going to kill you. If you look at the whole grand scheme of things, if you have 4 cheat meals a month, that's nothing.
Compared to the amount of, if you're eating 6 meals a day, it's really nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, it's not going to affect you. It's not going to do anything.
It's nothing.
You're not prepping for a show, a different story.
Yeah, I think that, in right now, with the amount of food on my high days, I could have 3 cheat meals a week on my high days, but I'm eating so much food that I'm not really craving anything. Yeah. So when I do crave something, like we said, I'm not going to deprive myself from having what I want. And it not only is it a mental thing, but I think that you can't just live bodybuilding 24/7. You're going to be burnt out. So go have a social life. Yeah. Go out with your friends and have some wings and beer.
People are weird though. They think they're not going to have muscle because they had wings or pizza. I'm just like, dude. It drives me nuts. That's one subject that pisses me off. It actually does make me mad. People deprive themselves for no reason. I'm like, if you fall apart for one meal, you should not be bodybuilding. Because if your body goes to shit, your genetics suck.
Yeah, it's going to happen. And I feel that's the reason why a lot of people in the fitness industry will develop eating disorders.
Yeah.
They're not allowing...
Especially women, yeah.
Because even like before a show, and this goes for everybody that competes, they know this. You're on Yelp 24/7 looking at food menus and looking at food. But what happens the day after the show? After one day, you're like, ugh.
Yeah, you don't.
I don't want to look at this. Yeah. It's just in the mind. It's just you're just fantasizing about what you can't have, and now that you can have it, you're over it. You're over it.
I get mad at people that can't control their eating habits. Like, it really annoys. I'm like, how old are you that you can't control what you put in your fucking mouth? Like, regardless of what I went through, I know I was just as bad, but I knew what I was doing. I was doing it intentionally because I was sabotaging myself. Like, I get mad at people that like try to do it and then they can't do it. I'm like, just do it. Just don't have it. Like, it's fine. You're gonna live another day without that carb meal or cheeseburger or fucking whatever. You'll be fine tomorrow. You'll forget about it. Just go.
Now you don't want, one thing is that you don't, if you do have a cheat meal and off menu item or whatever, don't punish yourself. Don't go the next day and fast for 24 hours because you had a cheat meal and do 4 hours of cardio.
Yeah, that's the one.
Because now you're creating this environment where you think that by doing something, by eating, now you have to punish yourself, because that's just a slippery slope.
Yeah.
That creates a lot of problems. Just get it done, eat it, you did it, feel good about what, feel good or bad, but, just take it as for what it is, as a mental break, and now the next day, just get back on your shit.
Yeah, it's not going to do anything. Yes, it will, but yes, it won't. It's just stupid. Like, enjoy the food, eat it, and move on with your life. It's not a big deal. Like, if you're a health nut and you're working out, it's going to be burned off, dude. Like, stop. Really bad. So
the next question here, since I don't have much experience with this compound, maybe you can shed some light on it. At Coach Jeff, and it's nothing crazy. At Coach Jeff _ mullet. Malay? Maybe it's Malay. What would be a compound somewhat compared to Primo? I don't think there's really one.
Honestly, like, Primo's my boy. Like, I fucking love Primo. Like, problem is this generation doesn't have real Primo in it, and like, oh man, like, I used to buy the amps when I was a kid, and I would take one a week, and I'd look like, I mean, at the time I didn't look like shit, but I would feel like like there's nothing better than that. Like, and it's like one of the safest drugs to use, the most powerful antibiotics there is on the market when it's real, and there's nothing that copies that. Honestly, I mean, I guess you could say trend, but I don't want to say that because that's so toxic, and there's not really that much pros that come out of trend, So I really don't think anything, honestly. I just don't. The only issue that I've always had in the past with Primo is that for me to get good results, I have to use very high doses in it. Yeah, it's probably weak. That's why. Very high doses, and it's not cheap. And it's not cheap, and you have to. I hate pinning myself to begin with, so frequent pinnings, not in the sense that it has a short ester, just more in the sense that I have to pin a lot at one time to get the weekly dosage is why I usually opt out of taking it. Yeah, I used to pay like $20-$25 an amp for 100 milligrams. 100? Yeah, for a bare amp, like. And you would take about 700 a week? I don't know, probably. At my worst, yeah, probably. Pick a number. Definitely 500. I mean, without a doubt. Without even thinking about it. I would probably. I'm not even going to talk about my bad times, but I wouldn't even count after a while. I would just be like, oh, you know what? What do I got over there? I'm going to take this. I'm going to take some of this today. I'm going to fill up. Meeny, miny, mo. Fill up like 4 syringes and just. And it goes, I didn't count after a while. I really didn't. I didn't even. I'm like, why do I have to count anymore? You know what I mean? Yeah. It was fucked up. Like, I mean, my preps were different, but my off seasons were not good when it came to that shit. I was just like, what do I feel like doing today? What do I feel? What do I want to feel today? God, I dread the days that I have to pin today, and I'll know that I have to do it, but I'll find other things. I'll start cleaning. You're like, nope. I'll start cleaning things that I don't even have to clean, and be like, whoa, I gotta clean this first before I go over there, and I pin myself. So. I got like that at the end, too, though. I hated it. I was just like, I'd miss it on purpose. I'm like, I got to wait. Nope, can't do it. Nope. All right, moving on. We got 4 more to go. Jesus Christ. These are all good ones. Okay. At Tony Miranda 21.
I know both of you guys are partiers. I don't know if you are anymore. You're more of a homebody now.
I do drugs, but just at my house.
How do you balance the strict bodybuilding lifestyle and going out? Now, this one's easy. This one's easy for me because first I just make sure that the next day is not a training day. That's number one, because then the day is going to be shit. I didn't eat enough food the day before. I'm dehydrated. I'm probably tired as shit. Probably came home like at 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely not going to be training that day. So I make sure that I schedule that day as a non-training day. That day is going to be dedicated to pretty much sleep, hydration, and just waking up and eating and then going back to sleep.
Yeah.
The day that I am partying, I'm going to do my best, depending on where I'm at, is to stay hydrated, to eat whenever I can. Pretty much if it's the off season, whatever I can get my hands on, I'm going to eat it. And if you're going to be drinking, just be smart about what you're drinking. So if you're concerned about, things that are high in sugar or anything like that, I drink sugar-free options all the time, or soda water. Yeah. I just drink vodka and soda water, or vodka and like sugar-free Red Bull. So I just pick those things.
Yeah, I'm gonna, during my partying days, which I did do every weekend. That was like I worked so hard 6 days a week, 5 days a week, call it, because Sunday didn't count either. But I didn't go out every weekend. I probably give myself a religious 2 weekends every month to go out hardcore. And I was like, I'm working 28 days hardcore at bodybuilding. Fuck that. I'm gonna go out. That's how I came to my senses in my mind that I deserved it. And then number two, like, I just got back on the fucking horse Monday and just did my thing. I didn't complain. I didn't stress about Saturday. I was happy that I went out and enjoyed it. And now I get to look forward to the next one. So you got to just build those little tricks in your mind that, like, okay, I deserve this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to come home whatever time. It doesn't matter. I'm not stressing about it. And then reset Monday, and that's it, and start over.
Ready to go.
No matter how tired you feel, just do it Monday and you'll get back into the swing of things. And the thing is, when you put it off, and it turns into, I'm going to go out again since I feel like shit, I haven't trained. Now I'm going to go out again. And it's Tuesday. Fuck it. And
done.
That just turns into a bad cycle. So I learned as I got better at it that I just got to get back on the horse Monday. No matter what time I went to the gym, it was midnight that night, I went. Didn't matter. And another thing, too, I didn't drink much ever. Really, I drank, but I would sip on that fucker all night because I would do other things. But and I realized I was better off because I would recover the next day so
better.
I would be fine. I wouldn't even be hungover. When I drank like a dickhead, I would be so hungover for days. And I'm like, and for me, honestly, guys, I just had my thing. I like to do party drugs. Like, I didn't care. It was just as bad as drinking in my eyes. So
same shit.
I would just pick one. I'm not going to drink tonight, but I'm going to do this, or I'm going to drink tonight and do that, or not do that. You know what I mean? So everyone finds their devil. They find the devil somewhere, whether it's smoking pot, cigarettes, drinking, eating McDonald's. Everyone has their fix, whatever they want to do, and I found my fix. And that kept me sane. I was so amped on drugs, steroids, I had to,
went out to bring it down a little bit.
Yeah, I had to bring it down, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's the people that do both, and they burn the candle from both ends all the time. That's who have heart attacks and die and do all crazy shit because they lose their mind because they're not doing enough of a balance. And that's all I have to say about that. It's easy.
Good. All right, moving on. This is coming from @Chase_Boucher. First cycle you ever ran, advice for beginners. Well, for me, it was very easy for me at the time when I first started bodybuilding was just to go into one of these max muscles and buy pro hormones. So pro hormones was my first introduction to anabolics. You could go in there. They had the stacks ready to go. Oh, you want a mass stack? Oh, you want a cutting stack? And it was pretty much oral steroids that you could just buy. Yep. So that was my introduction to steroids was through pro hormones. And I got all the worst side effects from it. That's how I got my gyno. There wasn't a lot of information online that you can read about. I didn't know of any sources where I can get oils to inject. So that was the only thing that was accessible to me. Now, the advice that I would give you is max out all other options before taking any type of antibiotics. At least if I can go back and redo everything from when I was a teenager, that's what I would have done. I would have used the money that I used for antibiotics, and I would have hired a trainer or hired a nutritionist to make sure that I'm eating the right foods, that I'm training the correct way, and that I max out my genetic potential first, so that when I did get into the antibiotics, I didn't have to use much to begin with to get great results. That would be the best advice that I would give a beginner.
I had a lot of juice heads around me, so I had a lot of steroids around me.
Blessed.
But I did not do it right because I didn't listen, because I thought I was an obnoxious little kid, 15 years old. I don't want to call Winstrol my first cycle. It doesn't count because I took it in high school for track and field. My first real cycle for bodybuilding was just DECA and test, and not enough test. And I did all this fucking crazy amount of DECA, and I shut myself down and got gyno the first cycle. And didn't take an anti-estrogen or anything. Nothing. And my tits just went. It was so bad, bro. I would duct tape or masking tape my chest down. And when I wore a wife beater,
tight shirt,
bro, it was horrible. I mean, I had bad gyno. I'm not gonna lie. Everyone saw it. I had bad gyno. Whatever. It is what it is. I don't give a fuck. And that was my first cycle. It was a bad idea. I mean, I didn't listen to whoever was telling me what to do. And I took it upon myself because I was on the forums at the time reading. And I'm like, no, it says take this much DECA and this much test, and you don't need anti-estrogens because you grow more and all this crazy shit. Boy. And I just fucked myself up. So I tell people all the time, just use testosterone by itself. See if you like it, the feeling, the get into the gym, a routine, if you're going to go down that road. But build a base first, and then you can go down that road. There's no rush to – you should at least be 18 to even think about it. And then maybe 20, 21. Have like 2 or 3 years of solid consistency building a body, and then you can start thinking about using shit. Because there's no point, honestly. It's not going to accelerate anything when you don't have anything. That's the thing. And,
especially like you have to build, like you said, you have to build a good base.
Plus, your hormones are so high at that age.
They're so high already.
People underestimate it so much.
People like kids that write to me that are like 20 years old. I'm like, I'm on stuff, and I bet you have higher testosterone levels than me.
That's true.
So I'm taking stuff to be just what you are naturally.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it.
All right, and this is the final question, because 2 of them were already topics that we already spoke about.
Piss my pants.
At some what helps you get into the right mindset to reach top level conditioning? That's a good one. That's a good one. At least I know that my top level conditioning was the Puerto Rico Pro and was nationals. And the mindset that I had the entire time was pretty much that very simple. If I wasn't doing it, there was somebody else that was going to be on stage that was doing it. And that was pretty much what I thought about the entire time, is I wanted to be the one that everybody else was trying to get to. I wanted to be the one that everybody was thinking about when they were doing their cardio or when they were training.
Yeah.
So by using that mentality and putting yourself in that mind frame, it just allowed me to continue to move forward so I felt like everybody else was miles behind me. My mindset changes every single show depending on what division I'm doing, who I'm competing against. But those two shows that I had my best conditioning, that was my mindset. That's how I approached every cardio session and every training session.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to answer because I didn't really have a problem going into that zone. I'm sure you didn't either because you're still bodybuilding. So the people who have a problem with it, honestly, like I tell them all the time, like maybe it's just not for you. Maybe you have to train the mind to get there. But like when you're ready to turn it on, like I'm ready to prep. Like it's just there. Like you don't have to look for it. I never had to look for it. I knew like, okay, I'm ready to diet. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to starve myself. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get in shape. And that's it. And I fell in love with just seeing my body change. Like I loved it. Like seeing those changes every week, that kept me just going for more and more and more and just pushing myself harder. And that kept me motivated every prep. I just couldn't wait to see what the new my new body would look like, essentially, from building it in the off season. And I loved rivalry. Like, I always would love to talk shit with my friends that are competing or people I didn't know, and just build the storyline of, you know, this guy going against me and that guy, because I was a competitive person. I didn't have to look for that, and you probably are too. So I use them as motivation. You know, it's like Philly today. I talked about his interview, how he has a champion mindset, and he talked about how he doesn't need anybody to motivate him. He has that in him. I used people for motivation because I wanted to crush him that fucking bad. I'm like, I'm gonna embarrass that guy. That was my mindset. You know, it's different, but it's the same thing essentially, because he didn't use them as motivation, but I did use them as motivation. You know. But I didn't like see them as like, oh wow, I'm gonna lose. I was like, no, I'm gonna fucking kill that. Even though like I love the guy, like Kevin Jordan, for instance, or John Ward, or all those guys like I was against back then, Dusty and Akeem Williams. Like I was like, I'm gonna fucking crush them. Meanwhile, I'm like, they're my boy. Like I love them. They're nice guys. But
you had to use that as fuel.
It was fun for me. That was like the competitive thing, because like I'm not shooting a basketball like scoring. You know, I'm like. You know, like, but like I just wanted to outshine them on stage. I knew like conditioning was the #1 factor. You know, like getting shredded was like me like scoring 100 points in a basketball game. So the more shredded I got, the better points I got. You know, so I mean that was very simple for me. I didn't like do anything crazy. You know, like Kevin Lavone used to tell stories about how he used to lock himself in a room with like rifles and on a floor, like
crazy
through or not. But he probably is. He's weird. Like in a good way, like he has that like fucked up mentality. Like I would just love to be in my nice, comfortable bed when I was dying. I didn't want to torture myself.
Ball up.
Yeah, like I didn't want to torture myself, but at the same time, I loved like the grind at it. It was fun. It was competitive, but you know, he went to different degrees. Like everyone has their level of like insanity with it, you know. But
yeah, I know that one. I did a post on mindset not too long ago when I first started my prep. This last one, and the idea was, what kind of mindset do you put yourself through? Do you train yourself, especially coming off of the quarantine and now you getting back into the gym again? And the idea I try to explain, like, this is not how I always think, and this is not how I think. This is just how I have to train my mind so that I can get the job done at the gym, and then once the job is done, then I could think normally again. Right. And essentially it was every time that I walk into the gym, I'm the IFBB pro in the gym. So right. I have to set the example in the gym of how you're supposed to train. And if you don't know that I'm a pro just by watching me train, you'll know that I'm a pro. That was kind of the mindset. How did you approach your off season? Because you talked about your mind frame when you were competing. But now when you're not competing against anybody and you're just in an off-season phase, would your mind frame change? Would your mindset change?
Well, off-season was different for me because I would listen to like really weird, calm music when I trained. I didn't listen to like heavy metal or rap.
Really?
I listened to like real mellow rock. Like
wow.
Like some of like Smashing Pumpkins or Foo Fighters, like real mellow shit. Like not their heavy shit. Now, because I was so amped all the time. Probably from the drugs, most likely. Like not the party drugs, like the steroids. I was just amped, and I had this like a real sick aggression about me in the off season, and because I just wanted to like rip the weights off the floor. Like I had that mentality, and I was like that my entire like. There was never I can't remember a time in my career where I never felt that fire until like the last show where I tore my pec, and I was like, this sucks. I had to do my pro debut with a torn pec, and that entire prep was just miserable because I couldn't work out my body, you know, and it wasn't fun. I couldn't lift heavy. I couldn't do anything. Lift like intense, you know, not heavy, but intense. So to me, like the intensity in the gym was just there. Like I didn't even take pre-workouts, bro. Like I didn't need it. Like I would just go in there and be warmed up. I would warm up properly because the warm up was very important to me, get into the right mind, and just go in there and just tear shit apart because I did let aggression out in there. It wasn't like I was angry. I just let aggression out in there because that was just fun for me. And like when I was an athlete in high school, it was the same way. Like when I got to the fucking track meet, like I was so fucking amped. Like that's just how I was with the gym too. And I didn't have to search for it. It was just always there. And the same with the off season. Like I got like a rise out of getting bigger. Like I was obsessed. Like Craig Elias, he's like obsessed with being fucking. Like it was like that too. So it was just always there. I got obsessed with being big, obviously. I got obsessed with being shredded. You know, I would just turn that switch on when I had to, and it was just always, knock on wood, I think that's why I had the success I did. But, you know, I think a lot of people that have to search for it, though, have to start training their mind, because my mind was sick.
It was there already.
Like, and I think you could definitely train it, because I talk to clients and I get them in the zone, and I know you can train it. You just have to know where that is. Like, you have to find it. And people have their certain triggers, whether it's music or maybe something to look at that gets them angry. Maybe watching like I used to watch a lot of working out DVDs back then. DVDs before I would work out, like the Dorians and the Ronnies and all of them.
That just get you pumped and shit.
I would love it, and it was cheesy, but like it was literally like silence of lifting weights. It was weird, but I got excited about it, and that's how I found my motivation. I would watch YouTube videos at the end, because then YouTube was popular, and I would sit there and eat my pre-workout meal and then go to the gym. And that was like, I felt great. But now kids are like, oh, I need this, I need that, I need to shoot this. I'm like, yeah, but I did that, but it wasn't like the reason why I went to the gym. I went to the gym because I loved being in there, you know? And I think a lot of people disconnect from that, and they're doing it for the wrong reasons, you know? Maybe because, and I never shot a video. My phone would be in the car. I was like a saint, would leave my phone in the car on purpose. Now it's like you have to bring your phone in. You have to record something, or it doesn't count. Like
it doesn't count.
It doesn't count. Like, oh,
it doesn't exist.
Like, it would piss me off that at the end of my career, I'm like, I have to shoot this video for Muscle Meds, and I don't fucking want to. Like, I'm just gonna fuck my focus up.
I just want to
get, you know, as I'm like, oh, hold on, wrong. No, I gotta talk about protein, carnivore. You know, that would annoy me. And even though I know it's weird, because like, not that I'm going to tell someone not to use their phone in the gym. I'm not like that guy. But like for me, I just had to disconnect. Like I left that shit in the car. I'm going to work out for an hour. That was like my time alone. Just let me go work out, you know?
I do that. That happens with me like towards the end of like those last 4 weeks.
Especially for you now with a business.
I put the phone away. I go, I hope nobody's dying in this hour. Because I'm not gonna be picking up the phone.
At the end of my career, I would have an iPod and not use my phone, because I didn't want.
Because you didn't get the notifications.
Yeah, I don't want the text, because I know I would just turn on my airplane mode on or off and just go look, and then fuck. Oh, I missed a post. Like, it doesn't matter though. And
yeah, it's an hour, and that's it. Put it away.
It wasn't even because like I didn't want to get distracted. I just wanted my time alone. It was just me personally wanting my time alone, and it was just fun. Like going there, just like. Oh, I hate that fucking thing. You know how
I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean.
So many days where you're like, I love this phone. It makes me so much money. I love connecting to people, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, like, it's literally rules my life. Like, I shit myself. I'm like, where the fuck's my phone? Oh, I wake up, roll over, where's my phone? Where's my phone? You know? It's controls us. It really does. And, but yeah, if I had to train now, it'd be hard. It'd be like that intensity. It'd be hard. So many distractions.
Well, I mean, what would you think your mindset would be now that it's not going to be a competitive?
I don't know. I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't really done it for real. Like I fucked around for the last. I haven't been at a show since 2015, so it's been almost going on 6 years now.
Shit.
But the 3 years after, I was still like, I'm competing. I'm going to do it, and then I didn't compete. But, now it's like the last 2 years I barely I can't tell you the consistent month that I went to the gym in the last 2 years. So it's going to be weird to go back with the mindset. Like that week I went back, I told you about the 12 pounds to whatever I gained. I felt so addicted to it already, though. That's the thing. And I'm like, oh shit. Like I don't
so do you think,
I gotta like throw away the bottles out the window or something?
And we'll wrap it at this question, but let me ask you this. Do you think at any point that if you were to get, like, once you do get back into the gym again, that a spark will happen that you're like, I think I have what it takes to come back one more time?
I know I could. I'm not bragging. I just know I could be good. I could be good at like a tier 3 level bodybuilder too, easily, if I wanted to. The thing with me is, like, you don't have this problem. Like, you don't have to get stupid big. Yes, you have to get bigger, but you're not fighting
I know what you mean.
You're not fighting gravity. You know what I mean? Like, like you don't have to get
literally.
You don't have to turn into like an Oompa Loompa to look good on stage. Like, I have to turn into like a
superhuman behemoth.
Yeah, like I don't have Philly genetics. I'm not going to look round and bubbly. I don't have Sean Roden's taper. I'm 6 foot white dude, you know, like I'm gonna have to be a mass monster again. So like I literally looked at the classic physique weight limits and I'm like, I could definitely make that if I didn't train, you know, and just dieted. I could probably look good on no biceps.
Were you ever at one point when you competed, were you ever at your classic, like what your classic weight limit?
Well, teen nationals. I was 210 on stage at teen nationals. Yeah. 16 years old. 210.
Fucking A.
Yeah. And that was the last time I was this weight, I was 18.
Wow.
It was, 17, 18 years ago I was this light. I don't remember it. I don't remember. I've never been under 250 at a show. 260 ever. 275 I was at my last show. And, so I don't know. If I lifted and took, I wouldn't be able to take juice if I did a show. Like it wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't. You'd have to
take like anti-estrogens and suppress myself.
If I had to get back to the weight that I was at 16, I would have to just lay in bed for like 5 months and literally eat drink and sure.
I have to not eat on purpose right now. Like I don't want to eat 2 meals a day. I want to. I love food. Like I'm not a foodie, but I like food. I don't enjoy eating 2 times a day. I get annoyed. I'm like, fuck, this sucks. Like, but I know like it's got to get down.
Yeah.
And it's the only way you can downsize. You have to stop eating and you have to eat the right foods. You have to stop eating too much protein. It's the only way. I mean, I tried every other way and Palumbo's like, it's not going to work. And I'm like, no, I could do it. And no, I'm like, I'll carb cycle and do cardio. He's like, it's not going to work, dude.
It's hard.
Hold on to the muscle. You're going to hold on to it. He's like, you got to stop eating protein. I'm like, all right. So like a meal sometimes is bacon and peanut butter and like, the least amount of protein possible. I try to not eat protein. And I try to get full enough so I can stay, good throughout the whole day, and drink a shitload of coffee all day.
I know. Those coffees do look delicious, though.
Because I can drink all the cream I want with them. I pour. It's like not even coffee. It's just cream. With a little touch of coffee.
Cream with a little bit of caffeine in it.
But like, it's what I had to do to get down. It's weird to say what I'm doing for a diet, But
those transformation pictures. I mean, when you post them, it's like holy shit. Because I remember when we first started doing, when we would do very sporadic podcasts. You were fucking big. You were big.
I would sit here in my stomach.
You didn't have a chin.
Yeah. I have tons of pictures of double chins.
Yeah.
Triple chins sometimes.
You didn't have a chin.
It was weird, bro. Like honestly, I didn't look at pictures for like 2 years, and then I started looking at them, and then I had New Year's Eve dinner when I went over the 350 mark. We went out for New Year's Eve, and I drank and ate like a fucking asshole. And I came home, my pants ripped. Okay? Pants and the armpits of my dress shirt ripped. Okay? And I was like, wow. And my girlfriend's like, you gotta, like, she's like, you're really bad. Like, she was like almost crying because that's how bad. Bro, I was so uncomfortable. Like, it was like, I can't even express how uncomfortable I was. Like, nothing was comfortable. Showering myself was annoying. Like, I was like exhausted. Like just trying to reach shit. That's like just. And I'm like,
and how was your sleep? I mean, you probably couldn't even.
I sat sitting up. I slept sitting up with my CPAP on. I leaned against the wall and put my CPAP on like this, and I'd wake up in the same position like 2 hours later. Like wide awake.
Was she putting your shoes on for you?
I didn't wear shoes. So I had put socks on, which all my socks would rip. I would get them to like my half of my foot, and it would shred right at the heel. It wouldn't spread anymore because my foot, I have a fat foot as it is, and then it would get even fatter. My shoes wouldn't even fit anymore. Like, part of my foot was so wide, so I would wear slides everywhere. It was like I felt like one of those fat people, like obese people. Like I literally felt like I was going to be that guy in the bed, like forklift, like like.
Well, and then if I'm not mistaken, when you started turning yourself around, that's when you started coming back out into coaching and stuff, right?
No, I was still coaching this entire.
You're still coaching,
but I wasn't.
But you became more. Yeah, you got out more, and you were posting stuff, and you were.
Yeah, I fell off for a good year.
Yeah,
I mean, probably a good year. the first 2 years in business, I was fine, and then it got really bad. That's why I started to get really, and I couldn't stay awake, dude. I was so tired all the time because I was just so heavy and not sleeping, and that cycle just, it catches up. It's your circadian rhythm gets fucked up. Like you're not on any schedule at all. You're just, I would be working, just like fall asleep, and I wake up. It's 2 hours later. I'm like, fuck, like what happened? Like literally all day long that would happen. And people don't get it though. Like they don't put it all in that perspective. They're just like, oh, you're just heavy. I'm like, you don't fucking know. I'd be at dinner with my girl just eating, and all of a sudden I'd just fall asleep. Just fork in the hand, like pass out at the table.
Excuse me, sir.
Literally, I would wake up and she'd be in bed because it's 4 hours later. I'd be sitting at the dinner table with food in front of me. I'm like, what the fuck happened? It was, but New Year's Eve was like that was it. After that, I was like,
that was rock bottom.
That was rough, dude. When my 4 X's weren't fitting, that's when I was like, okay. Like,
well, now you could now this New Year's.
This is XL. I have XL.
You got to take a picture this New Year's and then do a side by side.
Oh God, fucking. I think I have the photo from my jeans. Look like they're about to explode. They weren't even touching my boots. They were so tight. I'm like, yeah.
They look like skinny jeans, yet they were not meant to be skinny.
Oh, they were like what the hell's P. Diddy's company?
Sean John.
Sean John's. I swear to God, there were 48 Sean Johns. The waist was.
They're supposed to be parachutes,
bro. And I couldn't even get the button on. It was a 48, and I was like, "This is not. This is." I didn't even need a belt because it was so tight with a 48. I would sit at dinner and I have to unbutton it and zipper it, and then sit up because it would be so. So tight. It's laughable right now because like it was so bad at that point, but it was shit, man. Like that's the only thing I'm afraid of. Like I don't want to go down that roller coaster again. So,
I don't think so. A lot of people once they and especially you saw it. You know what you're capable of getting to.
Yep.
I think you're pretty much scarred for life.
Yeah, I'm scarred. No, I really am. Yeah. Like it.
Well, in a good. I mean, it's not a bad thing.
No, it's a positive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's something I can definitely speak on. That's for sure. Obesity. I talk about we look at the best part was, long story short, before we go, we had to buy all new chairs and I had to buy new toilet seats because I would break everything I sat on, Santi. My kitchen table, I leaned on and snapped it. This is not cheap shit. Like we had nice stuff.
God damn it again!
So my girlfriend's like, I'm not buying expensive kitchen chairs. You're gonna break them. You're too heavy. We had to look for like the chairs that had like, maximum weight of 400.
I was gonna say, you're getting weight ratings.
I couldn't do anything. She's like, don't sit on that. You're gonna break it. I'm buying this stuff. I just sit on just the couch and not move, and not.
You can just stand.
I would snap everything, bro. It was so bad. And that's when I was like, damn, I'm looking at weight limits at 500 pounds to do stuff and buy stuff. That's like almost at like a half of 1,000. Like that's not. I'm like, that's so.
You're looking at the glass half empty by saying it that way.
Yeah, I'm closer to 500 than I was 200. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like I was creeping up on 400 pounds. Like that's fucking sick. Dang. That's sick to think about.
Yeah, I mean that's like me at my height, probably weighing like close to 300, like 280.
Yeah. Oh yeah, easily. Yeah, 300 pounds. Yeah.
I can't even. I just passed the 200 mark.
Yeah. Imagine another one of you attached.
I feel accomplished, but now another half of me. Nope. Nope.
Bro, the worst feeling was looking at my 4Xs and I put it on. I was like. And it was just like it's literally down to my knees. Did this
get stuck in the dryer?
My girlfriend puts them on. It's hilarious. You can't even see her body. It's like it's nuts, dude. It's seriously like probably the most humbling thing that's ever happened to me is getting that heavy. Like I was like, damn. Okay, I get the.
Well, that's good. That's why there's a lot of people out there that they look at especially you. They look at you as a pro bodybuilder, but you've already been through all spectrums.
Oh yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you can definitely relate to some people that I can't relate to.
Yeah.
In that aspect.
I get the whole shaming too. Like when people would see me out, they're like, "What the?" And then it wasn't even like the muscular thing anymore. It was like, "Oh God, he's like, he's gonna break something," you know, like because I was fat and jacked at the same time. It wasn't just jacked anymore, you know. The jack thing, no one thinks you're fat. You know what I mean? It's a difference. Now people look at you like, "Oh shit, he's obese," you know. So it was like I felt the shaming that people get that are fat. I was like, "Damn, this is fucked up," you know, because you know, I wasn't looking jacked anymore. I was just like, you know, washed up. I felt like the movie The Wrestler, you know, like when he's like chasing that last fight and he's in the trailer park and living in his car. I felt like that was my life at that point. I was like, I'm gonna be in a trailer park and fat. I'm gonna eat away all my money. Yeah, it was funny though, but fuck it, it's all right. All right, well, this was an interesting podcast.
We went through a lot.
Yeah, we went through
a lot.
We went through getting fat, getting skinny, and then getting jacked again.
and a lot of trend talk and insulin.
The last thing I need. All right, let's I guess wrap this up, and then this is gonna be out tomorrow. Well, Friday it'll be on. You guys will watch this Friday. It's I think 5 or 6. I'll put it out once everyone gets home. And
this is probably gonna be 2 parts.
Yeah, this is a long one. Yeah, holy shit, it's 10:45. Okay.
It's like 3 hours.
Jesus Christ! All right, good thing I got back on here. That would have been bad.
Yeah.
All right, so obviously we have 2 sponsors: ParagonFitnessGear.com. That's Santi's company. Check them out. 4.0. When is it gonna be out? You said next month?
I would say probably 60 days. So,
but 3.0 is there.
Yeah. So just look out at my posts. I'm always posting about it.
And we're gonna put a coupon code for them in this.
No, fuck that. They're paying full price.
Full price.
No, go. Honestly, go find your favorite Team No Waste ambassadors and help support your ambassadors.
Yes.
Because I do give them a kickback. And they deserve, you know, that kickback. So go find your favorite ambassador. You know, they're always tagged on all the Paragon. I'm always reposting all the ambassadors. So please use their code.
Yeah. I just started my ambassador team, so sign up. We need more people. And Body Science Subs, my supplement store. Check them out. All right, dude. Good talk.
This is a weekly thing. This is our date. Next time I'm going to bring a glass of wine with me.
definitely like a porta john over here, or a decathlon or something. Just sit here and piss.
All right, homie.
Fun. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, peace.
Peace out.
Would you ever promise not to fail?